So we continue further in the part of calorimetry, that is latent heat and specific latent heat. We have read that during the change of phase of substance which takes place at a constant temperature, a considerable amount of heat energy is absorbed or liberated. Heat energy is absorbed by a solid during melting, and an equal amount of heat energy is liberated by the liquid when freezing. So we very well know that when any particular object is heated and there is a change of state from solid to liquid, there will be a lot of more heat which is going to be absorbed by the material. Similarly, if the liquid is getting converted into solid, then a lot of amount of heat will be liberated by that particular body. Similarly, heat energy, and at that time there is no change in the temperature. So you can see the heat is absorbed by a solid during melting, and equal amount of heat energy is liberated by the liquid during freezing without showing any change in temperature. Similarly, heat energy absorbed by liquid during vaporization and equal amount of heat energy is liberated by the vapors during condensation without showing any change in temperature. Since the heat energy absorbed or liberated in change of phase is not externally manifested by any rise of or fall in temperature, it is called as latent heat. Latent heat is when expressed for units of mass is called as specific latent heat. So because there is no indication about the heat being given to it, because whatever heat we are giving is just getting converted into the change of state, but there is no change in temperatures, because there is no indication by any change in temperature by whatever the amount of heat we are given. That's why it is called as the hidden heat, or which is called as latent heat. So latent heat is the amount of heat which is given for the change of state. And when we are talking about the unit mass का change of state अगर हम लोग देखते हैं, तो that was called of a substance, we call it as a specific latent heat. So that is a specific latent heat which is given as L. The specific latent heat is denoted by symbol L. The specific latent heat is equals to heat absorbed by the change of phase upon mass. So that will be equal to Q, that is the heat absorbed upon mass. So L is equals to this one, therefore Q is equals to M into L. So the heat required will be mass into the latent heat. So if amount of heat energy Q is absorbed by the mass M of the substance during its change of phase at a constant temperature, then specific latent heat L is equals to Q upon M. Thus, specific latent heat of a phase is the quantity of heat energy absorbed or liberated by a unit mass of substance for the change in its phase at a constant temperature. So this is the definition of the latent heat, that specific latent heat. That specific latent heat of a substance specific latent heat of a phase is the quantity of heat energy. It is the quantity of heat energy absorbed or liberated by the unit mass of a substance for the change in phase at a constant temperature. The amount of heat energy absorbed or liberated by a given amount of substance for the change of phase for which specific heat latent heat is L is given by Q is equals to M into L. So if I need to find out that what is the amount of heat required to change the substance from solid to liquid or liquid to gas or something like that, then we know the amount of heat will be equal to M into L, that is mass into specific latent heat of the substance. The unit of specific latent heat, the SI unit of specific latent heat, so you know that specific latent heat L will be equal to, this is Joule upon kg, so Joule per kg. Okay, so the specific latent heat is given by Joule per kg over here. So SI unit is Joule per kg. Other common unit will be calorie per gram or kilocalorie per kg. So 1 kilocalorie will be 1 calorie per gram or 1 calorie, so 4.2 वो same ही है, उसमें कुछ ज़्यादा difference नहीं है. So but here one thing is that kilocalorie को हम लोग ने calorie में किया तो 1000 से मल्टीप्लाई किया और ग्राम को केजी में किया तो 1000 से डिवाइड किया तो यू गेट कैंसल. सो देयरफॉर 1 किलो कैलोरी पर ग्राम विल बी इक्वल टू 1 कैलोरी पर केजी. So next we see is specific heat of fusion of ice. So specific heat will be of two kinds. One will be of fusion, that is of ice, and so let's see about the specific heat of fusion of ice. The specific latent heat of melting of ice is the heat energy required to melt unit mass of ice at 0 degree Celsius to water at 0 degree Celsius without change in temperature. On the other hand, the specific latent heat of fusion of ice is the heat energy released when a unit mass of water at 0 degree Celsius freezes to 0 degree Celsius ice without change in temperature. Note, for a pure substance, the specific latent heat of fusion is the same as the specific latent heat of melting. For ice, the specific latent heat of fusion is 336,000 joule per kg is equal to 80 calorie per gram. It means that 1 kg of ice at 0 degree Celsius absorbs 336,000 joule of heat energy to convert into water at 0 degree Celsius, or 1 gram ice at 0 degree Celsius absorbs 80 calorie of heat energy to convert into water at 0 degree Celsius. So you can see that the amount of heat energy which an ice can absorb will be 336,000 joule per kg. So 1 kg of ice can absorb, it is 336,000 joule of heat energy. Okay, that is the amount of heat energy which will be an ice will be absorbing from some water or some. So that's why that is the capacity of the ice to get converted from ice into water. Okay, so that is the capacity of ice to absorb. In other words, 1 kg of water at 0 degree Celsius will liberate 336,000 joule of heat energy to convert into ice at 0 degree Celsius, or 1 gram of water will liberate 80 calories of heat energy to convert into ice at 0 degree Celsius. 1 gram of water at 0 degree Celsius has 336 joule or 80 calorie of heat energy more than 1 gram of ice at 0 degree Celsius. So it will be seen that water will have 336 joule of more amount of energy in it, whereas ice will have 336 joule less amount of energy in it. In other ways, ice has got the capacity to absorb 336 joule amount of more energy from water. So that's the reason that when we are putting, like for example, I have got a glass of water and I want to make it cold, I will not put water at 0 degree Celsius to it, because when I add water at 0 degree Celsius, the resultant temperature, like the water was initially at 24 degrees Celsius, and then I add only some let's say 50 ml of water at 0 degrees, it is not going to become even 22 or 23 degrees Celsius. Whereas if I take ice and put it inside, then it is going to become cooler. Why? Because 336 joule or per gram of heat will be absorbed from the water by the ice to get converted into water, and hence the water will get cooler faster by putting in ice rather than putting the water at the same temperature. So some latent heat of fusion of some common substances, the mercury is 3, sulfur is 9 calorie per gram, silver is 21, paraffin wax is 35, copper is 43, ice is 80. So not required to learn, except ice. Ice is 336 into 10⁻³ joule per kg. The explanation of the latent heat by the kinetic model. So you know that according to the kinetic model, the molecules in a solid vibrates about their mean position. The total energy of the molecules in the sum of the kinetic energy due to its motion which depends upon the temperature, and its potential energy, which depends on the force of attraction between the molecules and the separation between them. So you know that the molecules of the solid or any particular substance is going to be having two kinds of energy. One is the kinetic energy due to its random motion, collision and auxiliary, and due to vibrations, and the another is the force of attraction between the two molecules by the potential energy. So this is the kinetic energy and the potential energy. Now when you are heating the thing, first of all the kinetic energy increases because the random motion increases, but then at a particular point it will not have any increase in the kinetic energy possible because of the force of attraction between them. So then at that time the heat energy is required to break the force of attraction, and that heat energy which is required to break the force of attraction is not taking into consideration the temperature change, and that's the reason it is a latent heat. So The total energy, yeah. When a solid changes into liquid without any change in temperature, the average kinetic energy of the molecules does not change, but the separation between the molecules on an average increases. Some energy is required to increase the separation against the attractive force between the molecules, that is for the increase in the potential energy of the molecules. Since the increase in volume is negligible, so no heat energy is used in volume expansion. Thus, the heat energy supplied during melting is utilized only in increasing the potential energy of the molecules, and hence is called the latent heat of melting. So when 1 gram of ice at 0 degree Celsius changes to water at 0 degree Celsius, nearly 336 joule energy is used in increasing the potential energy due to the increase in the intermolecular separation. So latent heat of ice is 336 joule per gram. Now certain natural consequences of the high specific latent heat of fusion of ice. So you'll see that in case this latent heat would have not been there, then there could not have been any snow-capped mountains anywhere in the world, because very few places in the world are such that they are having the atmospheric temperature always below zero. Like if you go to the many of you must have gone to many places where there is ice over there, you will always find that the temperature over there was not below zero. Okay, ice was available over there, but the temperature on them was not below zero. Then you find that how can the ice be present over there? This is because of the latent heat. So when the temperature is going to be even 24 degrees Celsius, still there will be presence of ice over there, because what is going to happen is the heat which is given by the sun will be utilized to change your state, and hence it absorbs a lot of amount of heat for it to get converted into ice to water. If it would happen that 24 degree Celsius पहुंचा तो पूरा ice melting होने वाला था, यानी latent heat जैसा कुछ होता ही नहीं, in that case there could not have been any snow-capped mountains or any kind of icebergs or anywhere in the world. Okay, so it is because of the latent heat that even at high temperatures the ice is remaining ice and it is not getting melted. They are not melting one at a time. Okay, all at a time it doesn't melt. It is going to melt slowly by absorption of more amount of releasing of more amount of heat from it. Sorry, it is absorption of heat amount, because it is going to absorb the heat so that it melts. So snow on the mountain does not melt all at a time at once. The reason is that ice has a high specific heat for fusion equal to 336,000 joule per kg. It is due to this fact that it changes into water slowly and it gets heat from the energy from the sun. If latent heat would have been very low, all the snow would have melted in the short time on getting heated from the sun, heat from the sun, and there would have been flood in the river. In cold countries, water in lakes, ponds do not freeze all at a time or at once. The reason is that the specific latent heat of ice is sufficiently high. The water in the lake and pond will have to liberate a large quantity of heat to the surrounding before freezing. The layers of the ice formed over the water surface, being a poor conductor of heat, will also prevent the loss of heat from the water of the lake. Hence, it does not freeze all at once. Third, very important, because this is normally a give reason question asked. Drinks get cooled more quickly by adding piece of ice than ice cold water at 0 degrees Celsius. This is because 1 gram of ice at 0 degrees Celsius takes 336 joules of heat energy from the drink to melt into water at 0 degrees. Thus, the drink liberates an additional 336 joule of heat energy to 1 gram of ice at 0 degrees Celsius. Then to 1 gram of ice cold water at 0 degrees Celsius. Therefore, cooling produced by 1 gram of ice at 0 degrees Celsius is much more than produced by 1 gram of water at 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, very easy. Ice लिया तो ice के अंदर क्या होगा? Ice is going to take the latent heat from the cold drink so that's why it will become cold much more. Whereas in case of the water, or we add just 0 degrees Celsius water, then the drinks is not going to get cold enough, because it will not be able to absorb more amount of heat energy from the drink. When ice in the frozen lake starts melting, its surrounding becomes very cold. obviously, because when it is going to when it is going to absorb the heat from the atmosphere. Okay, when the ice starts melting, it is going to absorb the heat from the atmosphere. Because they are absorbing the heat from the atmosphere, automatically the atmosphere becomes cooler. So that's why when the reason is that quite a large amount of heat energy is required for melting the frozen lake, which is absorbed from the surrounding atmosphere. As a result, the temperature of the surrounding falls and it becomes very cold. It is generally more cold after a hailstorm when ice melts than during or before the hailstorm. Yeah, during or before the hailstorm, it is not so cold, but after the hailstorm, it becomes very cold. Why is that so? Because the hailstorm से जो ice आया है वो melt होने का चालू होगा, तो melt करने के लिए क्या करेगा? Atmosphere से heat लेगा. So atmosphere becomes cooler. The reason is that after the hailstorm, ice absorbs the heat energy required for its melting from the surrounding. So the temperature of the surrounding falls further down and we feel more cold. So this is about the explanation for the chapter. Now there is one more thing which is very important in this chapter, and that is about the you can say the graphical representation of this particular, you can say the heat curve, which is not given directly, but it is over here. So what we'll do is we'll take a combination of both the chapters. We'll take the combination of both the chapters, that is the first part of the calorimetry, which was specific heat capacity, and the second part of the chapter, which was about the latent heat. So what we'll do is we'll take a graph. So in the graph, we are going to take it this way, that this is not 0, but it is minus 10 degrees Celsius. So this is the temperature over here, where this is 0 degrees Celsius and this is, let's say, 100 degrees Celsius. So what we do, and this is of course the time in seconds or maybe anything. So what we do is that initially we are going to take the ice at minus 10 degrees Celsius. So initial condition is ice at minus 10 degrees Celsius, and you start heating it. So when you start heating it, it is going to get heated and reach a temperature of 0 degrees Celsius ice in no time. Very quickly it will reach a 0 degrees Celsius. So minus 10 will become 0. Now this change over here is change due to the change in temperature. Hence, if you want to calculate this, this calculation will be Q is equals to mc delta T, where C will be of ice. Okay? mc delta T is what is going to be the heat which will be required over here. The next step will be, when ice is going to be further heated, there would not be any change in temperature, but there will be change in time, and then we will be getting over here 0 degrees Celsius water. This over here, there is no change in the temperature. That's why for the change in state, this Q over here will be equal to M into L. Clear? So this part is mc delta T, this is ml. Now if you heat it further, it is going to start heating and the temperature keeps on increasing till 100 degrees Celsius. So at this point will be 100 degrees Celsius water. Again, this is change in temperature, no change in state, therefore it will be Q is equals to mc delta T. Further, if you keep on heating it, it will be like this with no change in the temperature but change in state. So this point over here, you will get it as 100 degrees Celsius steam. Now because this is change in state, therefore Q is equals to again M into L, where L will be of steam. Here C will be of water. Here L will be of ice to water. This will be from water to steam. And then if you heat it further, it goes up, which will be again Q is equals to mc delta T, which will be just steam at different temperatures. So this is the complete heat curve what you are going to have. Now this one is very, very important because you will be having numericals where you will be taking a particular substance at an ice at minus 10 degrees Celsius, and you are told that you are heating it to like 50 degrees Celsius or so. Then you will be having different stages over there. So what are the stages? The first stage will be change in temperature. So it will be mc delta T. So what is the total heat required for this whole part? Let's suppose that we are going to take it till this point. Okay, we'll take it up to this point, which is over here at 200 degrees Celsius. So what is the different Q? The Q total Q कितना रहेगा? तो total Q क्या रहेगा? सबसे पहला will be minus 10 degree ice to 0 degree ice. So that will be mc delta T. What is the next step? The next step is 0 degree ice to 0 degree water. So that is ml. The next thing is 0 degree water to 100 degree water. So that will be plus mc delta T again. After that it will be 100 degree water to 100 degree steam, that will be m into L, and then it will be 100 degree steam to 200 degree steam, so that will be mc delta T. So this is how you can find out the total Q will be mc delta T of ice plus mc delta T of ice to water, then mc delta T of water, then ml from water to steam, and from steam mc delta T, where C will be of steam. Okay, this is how you can calculate the amount of heat required with the change in temperature also and change in state also. So it will be mc delta T plus ml. This is the complete thing, what is very important. So in the numericals in this particular chapter, this particular part of the term, you will be having the mc delta T of the previous part also and ml of this part also, and also about the fact that heat loss is equal to heat gain. In all the sums of these calorimetry, we will first make a, we can say something like a flow chart. Okay, a flow chart like this. 0 degree ice to ये, फिर ये to ये, फिर ये to ये, ऐसा flow chart बनाएंगे, और वो flow chart के नीचे हम लोग उसका formula लिखेंगे कि what is the formula which is going to be used for that particular changeover. Okay, so we'll see the formula. So we'll just write down the formula over here. Q is equals to mc delta T. We will also have Q is equals to m into L, and heat lost is equals to heat gain. Okay, heat loss is equal to heat gain. These are the normal ones. Otherwise, what we'll be using will be definitely the important points over here. So let's see the numericals now. So there are 12 numericals. Let's start with the numericals. Sum number 1. 10 grams of ice at 0 degree Celsius absorb 5460 joule of heat to melt and change to water at 50 degree Celsius. Calculate the specific latent heat of ice. Okay, so it is given that. So let us see. As I told you, we have got over here that 10 grams of ice. So first of all, M is equals to 10 grams. And they are given you that Q. Okay, so उसके पहले अभी हम लोग क्या करेंगे, फ्लो चार्ट करेंगे. फ्लो चार्ट क्या है उसमें, सबसे पहले 0 डिग्री आइस टू 0 डिग्री वाटर to 50 degree water. This is the change which is going to take place. You have got 0 degree ice, which you are heating it, and you are converting it into 0 degree water, and from there you are converting it further into 50 degree Celsius water. The change over here is, so Q is equals to ml plus mc delta T. So let's put the values over here. The Q is already given to here as 5460 is equals to 10 into L, because we need to find out the specific latent heat over here. L plus the M over here is 10. C is 4200 is given is as joule per kg, but we know that it is grams, so it will be 4200 upon 1000 into delta T is from 50 to 0, so it will be 50 minus 0. So that will be 5460 is equals to 10L plus 4, the 42 into 50. So 42 into 50, I'll write it this way only. So 5460 is equals to 10L plus, this is 10 and 2021. So 2100. So this will be 5460 minus 2100 is equals to 10L. So that gives me 0, 6 and then 3 and 3, 0 upon 10 is equals to L. So L is equal to 336 joule per gram. Because everything was gram, so it's joule per gram, 336 joule per gram. That was the first sum. We move on to the second sum. How much heat energy is released when 5 grams of water at 20 degrees Celsius changes into ice at 0 degrees Celsius? Again, the same kind of thing. You have got 5 grams. So mass is equals to 5 grams. And you are changing it water at 20 degrees into ice at 0 degrees. So it is 20 degrees Celsius water to 0 degrees Celsius water to 0 degrees Celsius ice. This change is, so Q is equals to mc delta T, and over here the change is ml, because here there is a change in temperature, so mc delta T. Here there is no change in temperature, but there is a change in state, therefore ml. So 5 into, they are given you the specific latent as 4.2, so it is 4.2 specific heat capacity into temperature will be 20 minus 0 plus M is 5 into L is 336. So this will be 42 into 5, so 5, so 21 into 20 minus, this is 6 5 is the 30, so 15, 16, 17, 18, again 15, 16, so 1680. So this will be 20 into 21 is 420 by plus 1680. So that will be 0012 2100 joule. So the amount of heat energy required will be 2100 joule. We now move on to sum number 3. A molten metal of mass 150 grams is kept at its melting point 800 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it is given that molten metal of mass 1. So mass is equals to 150 grams and it is kept at its melting point at 800 degrees Celsius. When it is allowed to freeze at the same temperature, it gives us 7500 joules of heat energy. So it is given over here that 800 degrees Celsius liquid is getting converted to 800 degrees Celsius solid. So the Q required will be equal to M into L. Okay, they already given the Q to be 17500 joule is equals to M is 150 into L. So that is 7500 into 150. So that will be 15 5s are 75. So that will be 500. So L is equals to 500 joule per gram. That will be the specific latent heat of the metal. Now the thing is that if the specific heat capacity of metal is 200 joule per gram, how much additional heat of energy will be here to melt will be to cool it to minus 50 degrees Celsius. So further what is given is you are changing this solid at 800 degrees. So 800 degrees Celsius solid is getting converted into minus 50 degrees Celsius solid. So the Q will be equal to mc delta T. So here M is of course the same 150 grams and the C is given to you as 200 joule per kg. So it is 200 upon 1000 joule per gram into temperature will be equal to 800 minus or minus 50. So 800 and minus or minus 50. So this gets cancelled. So it will be 15 to the 30. So it is Q is equals to 30 into 850. Okay. So 15, 25, 00. This much joule. So 25,000 500 joule of heat energy will be required to heat the cool the object, or will be given out to cool the object. So how much additional will the metal give out? So it will give out 25,500 joule of additional energy when it is cooled to minus 50 degrees Celsius. We now move on to sub number 4, but in the next video.